This video is sponsored by Z2U.com, who offer heavily discounted COD points. If that sounds interesting to you, why don't you head over to Z2U.com today? Now, can I shock you? Warzone's audio is actually very good. Hear me out. It's been nominated and won awards specifically for its audio over the last few years. And this is largely around the amazing quality and depth of all the different sounds we have throughout Call of Duty and when being in a, well, Warzone. The reason the audio gets a lot of hate is that we want to hear the footstep audio, and this is where it gets inconsistent and annoying. This is really a matter of how the footstep audio track is mixed compared to all of the other noises that go on in Warzone, since some audio seems to take priority over footsteps and stops us from hearing enemies coming. Fortunately, Call of Duty are constantly updating and tweaking the audio and improving it, which is why today I'm going to show you the updated best audio settings. And we'll start with the audio mix. Now, because of the funky way the audio has worked on Warzone in past seasons, I have actually recommended different options for this, such as home theater. Whereas at this point in Warzone and in Season 5, for the average user using a headset or even a TV, I would recommend headphone bass boost. And that's simply because footsteps register in the lower frequencies, and this setting just increases the volume of those lower frequencies so we can hear footsteps easier in theory. And when I have compared this to the different audio mixes, the theory seems to stand up in reality as well. And now we have a breakdown of the different volumes we can tweak. So obviously with master volume, if you've got a headset or a TV or monitor or whatever, you usually can control your overall volume on there. However, I would recommend changing the master volume on the game to 70 or below. And then if you need it higher overall, you can change it on your headset. But the reason I recommend this is because if you crank it all the way up to 100, it's actually going to become a little bit distorted in the game. So all of those competing sounds and audio tracks cranked all the way up to 100 and can sound a little distorted and out of joint. Then for the in-game music, I turn this down to 0. It gives us no competitive edge, although it can sound cool. For dialogue volume, I've got this on 70. As I'm sure you know by now, the game can shout some very valuable information at us, which most of the time it can just be the voiceover shouting enemy operator in the AO or whatever, but obviously that's very important to hear, so 70 is good for this. Effects volume, put this all the way to 100 because this is things like footsteps and other important things in game, like doors smashing open or claymores going down. Voice chat, that's up to you, and again is usually something you can alter on your headset, but I've got mine up to 50. For cinematic volume, this is one of those you can put down to 0 as well. There's no real competitive edge, but for me personally, I don't like the game to feel so sterile sometimes, so I've just got it on nice and quiet. Then war tracks volume, that's completely up to you. Some other key settings here are proximity chat. I've got mine switched off, and that's purely because I play with people on cross-platform, so if we are in-game chatting, I obviously don't want to give our position away to the enemy. But if you are chatting in a party chat or on Discord, or even playing solo, I would recommend putting this on because you'll hear other people giving away their position. And then if you are having proximity chat on, you'll want to ensure that you've got your open mic sensitivity setting nailed. This just refers to how loud you have to be down your microphone before it gets picked up on the game. The reason this can be important, especially with proximity chat, is that if your microphone is too sensitive, it'll pick you up breathing or some background noise or something like that. And obviously that's going to show up to both your teammates and the enemies, so they'll know someone is around. If that sounds familiar to you, just make sure that you put this setting down a little bit. Then as we get to mono audio, make sure this is off. By having it off, it means that we get directional audio sent to us, so we can hear footsteps or shooting coming from the left or right or behind us or whatever. And we also want to have enabled reduce tinnitus sound. This isn't major but can be very annoying and sometimes can override some of those other important sounds we need to look out for. And a really important audio tip which not many people know about is to actually select none on your hit marker sound effects. Previously, I've really enjoyed using classic, but for whatever reason, when the hit marker sound effects are on classic or MW, they seem to have a higher priority on the audio track lists, so you may hear them louder than, for example, footsteps. This seems to happen only in certain situations, but really we want it never to happen, so put it on none. And now that we're finished up here, make sure the rest of your settings are the best they can possibly be this season, and head over to these videos. Or if you want to check out some amazing free skins you can get as well this season, head over to this video.